host is Annabelle, as always. So we're doing another movie review and everything. This is from my haul video from the other day, and that is 1031, our anthology movie. You guys know I love me some anthology movies and everything. This movie, it is from the same creators as Volumes of Blood, The Barn, what else? Bone Jangles, The Dooms of Chapel Horror. Now, Bone Jangles and The Dooms Chapel Horror, I've never seen. I feel like I should definitely check those out because I've really enjoyed The Barn. I've enjoyed both Volumes of Blood. Volumes of Blood, both those movies are anthologies as well. And I really enjoyed, I have to say, I really enjoyed this movie, really enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, these guys know how to make a movie, I'm just saying. So, this movie, oh my gosh, so this movie, how many times can I say this movie? So, 1031, so I gotta give you guys a little bit of a warning for those of you who have not seen it. There's some pretty bad, cheesy acting. I give you guys that warning because I know that can really make or break a movie. Although, for those of you who have seen the other movies, or at least one other movie from the same creators, you'll know that, like, the acting in these are usually, that's kind of like one of the quirks, is the acting's kind of cheesy bad. So I just don't want you guys go in watching this movie and, you know, like, right off the bat, you're like, oh my god, the acting is just, like, horrendous. It's, I would have to say, maybe at moments, certain moments, it's a little like, but for me, it really didn't, like, kill it. I really enjoyed it. I feel like the one that really is, like, the most cheese-tastic, fullness, I guess the best way I can put it is the second story. But even that, it's just, with its, like, overly cheesy acting, it's still really a good segment and everything. This is actually, there's like 4 or 5 stories, I believe, somewhere around there. And with any sort of anthology movie, we all know that there's, you know, for any of us, there's always going to be those segments that we really truly enjoy, really love those stories, and maybe that one or two that's not so much. Same case for this one. There were a few segments for me that I really truly loved, especially this first viewing of it. And then maybe like one or so that I was a little you know, it was a little which I'll get to. I will get to. Let's actually, you know, dive into some of the stories. I won't talk about all of them, especially too for those of you who have not yet seen this movie. I know quite a few haven't yet. Now, for me, like, the two that really, for me, kind of stand out, just because they're kind of like my favorites. Not saying that they're like the best of the movie. I'll let you guys decide for yourselves which ones you think are the best and which one are the weakest. The first story, I feel like first story a lot of times for me is either the one that really is a great one for me or is not quite the best, just depending. But no, the first one, which is called The Old Hag, very strong story, really liked it. It kind of is a play on sort of that traditional ghost story, urban legend of, you know, like, these two guys are doing this sort of commercial or something for this little, like, bed and breakfast or whatever that, you know, has, like, lost some of its clientele. It's not as much of a booming business anymore, this little bed and breakfast and everything. So these two guys come in to shoot a little video and everything, and talking with this guest and everything, and it's set on Halloween. All these stories are actually set on Halloween, which I like. I like that little running theme. I mean, obviously it's 1031, so Halloween's pretty much going to be involved no matter what. And these guys are kind of, you know, there. One of the guys is seeing stuff, like, you know, he sees who he thinks is a guest of the hotel or the motel, whatever it is. This, like, old lady who is taking a shower, and this, like, oh, this lady is old, and you see her old, wrinkly boobies, which I will have one day. That's why you shouldn't say ew. Anyway, but no, so, he's like, oh, I just kind of accidentally walked in on guest. I don't think she saw me. I'm so sorry. And then he continues to kind of like see this person. And at one point when they're filming, the guy's like, wait a second, like, what the heck? Like, the lady that I just saw is at the top of the stairs. And the other two people are like, there's no one there. Like, there's no one there. And so they are trying to finish up. They're getting ready to leave, these two cameramen or these two commercial guys. And the one is like, well, why don't we just stay here? Come on. Like, she's giving us a free room. Let's just stay here. We can pick it up in the morning right away and finish it and get out of here. And the other guy who's been seeing stuff is like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to stay. I don't want to stay. I just want to get out of here. I've been seeing stuff. So they both stay or whatever. And, comes to find out, like, just kind of the shenanigans that ensue. I don't want to spoil the story for you guys, but it definitely is kind of like that old sort of like haunted hotel and everything and all that. It's pretty well done. It's a fun one. I really liked it. I thought it was a strong story to start off the movie with. Second one that I really kind of enjoyed is actually the second story, which involves a scarecrow and everything. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this was definitely one that was like probably the most overly acted bad cheesiness. But you know what? It kind of worked for me in this segment. It really did. It's for those of you who have seen it or will see it eventually, this type of acting for me is very touch and go. Sometimes it does really work for me. Other times it really doesn't. But this one really just kind of struck a chord with me. Really enjoyed it. This one is kind of, these two kids, they're out like on a date or whatever. The one guy I think is like newer to the town, and the girl's like, well, we got to do something. Come on, we got to be scared or something. Let's go, see this like scarecrow. I'll tell you the legend about it. And she does, and the guy who is like, no, we really should leave, like, don't take the scarecrow down, we should leave, and blah, 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 like, he's trying to be, like, the voice of reason of, like, we shouldn't be doing this, but the girl's like, no, we got to figure out, what's so important about the scarecrow and stuff, and blah, 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 and find out about the legend, and of course, once again, stuff happens, shit ensues, shenanigans ensue. Once again, I don't want to spoil it because, a lot of you have not seen this yet. But, the thing that I do really kind of enjoy about this movie is, pretty much like every story is, like, it's some sort of, like, almost like morality type of event or situation in the same sort of vein as like quite a few of the like Tales from the Crypt episodes. It's a little more along that lines. A little influence, I guess, maybe by Twilight Zone, with some of those episodes being like a little bit of like a morality tale and everything, which is what I like. It's something I like about this movie. It just has like little homages like that, little influences like that. And I'm not even sure if those guys were really influenced by Tales from the Crypt and the Twilight Zone, but that is definitely kind of like a little bit of a vibe that I get from this movie. But yeah, it's a good one. Another one of the stories though that I do want to bring up, one that was a little like, it was an okay one for me, but it just seemed to fall just slightly short from like the first two, which is, I forget exactly what the segment title was, but it like takes place in 1991 on Halloween, obviously, and like Halloween's been canceled because there's this big snowstorm and everything, and there's like this little family like just kind of sitting there hanging out and everything. Their two sons or whatever are like talking. They're sitting on the floor playing this Volumes of Blood game, and like the one son is like, oh man, that sucks, Halloween's canceled, like Halloween is definitely his holiday, he loves it. The other son is the one who really loves Christmas, and he's like, who cares about Halloween, like everyone loves Christmas, that's really the best holiday ever, that's really the only holiday, they're a little bickering and everything, and then there's like the ending and everything. This one I will kind of sort of spoil, but like the one kid, because like at one point like Santa shows up and it's talking to this one kid of like, oh yeah, no, you know, all the bad kids are going around Halloween and everything. All the good kids like, you know, like Christmas and like Santa. And it's just like, what? I don't know, it just seems a little weird. And then it's like, you know, both the kids decide to like take off these two like 10 and 9-year-old kid. I don't even know how old they are. One decides to go off with Santa, the other decides to go off with like the I don't know, the killing spree clan kids of Halloween and go trick or treating. I don't know. But I mean, just little things like that. Even though like I didn't really like it as much, it's still an okay story. Like I said, just fell a little short for me. But no, little things like that. Like, you know, I think everyone, like I said earlier, everyone can really kind of find a couple of stories in here that they really truly enjoy and make it worthwhile to actually watch again and again. This is definitely one that I will tell you right now, by default, is going to be one of those staples for me for Halloween. So this will definitely be one that is going to make it its first appearance in October for me for my 31 days of horror and everything, or of Halloween. But this is definitely a pretty decent one. I liked it. But let me know, you guys, of what you think about this movie. What, you know, if you really enjoyed it, if you really didn't like it, it was kind of just for you. And for those of you who have seen the other two movies, Bone Jangles and the Dooms Chapel Horror, if you guys have ever seen either of those movies, please let me know, because I really kind of want to know if they're pretty decent. I'm assuming they're going to be pretty decent, because they're same guys who have done, you know, 4 movies now that I've seen that I really truly enjoy. I feel like they're probably worth checking out, but let me know in the comments if you guys have seen those. Till next time, you guys, as always, stay creepy, classy, and a little bit sassy.